Welcome back to Off Guard. I'm your host, Austin Rivers, along with my guy, Pausha Haghighi. I'm live here in Boston. Boston-Detroit game tonight. By the time this airs, that'll be over. But where are you at? You down in Orlando fighting the good fight, the good weather. I can see with your lack of gear, you're somewhere sunny.
Yeah, I'm about to say, you are cozied up right now. I can tell you're somewhere cold.
A nice little
Lululemon shirt, arms busting out. Look at this. There you go.
Yeah, I'm fighting the good fight right now.
Yeah, so, we made fun of it on the last pod, but you have watched more Detroit Pistons games. I feel like if I'm the Cavs, I'm like paying you to scout for the Pistons. What's going on?
I have like 5 more this season. They doubled down. I think they got more games as obviously they've won more games. I think NBC added more on like, hey, listen, this team's actually fun to watch. So I got more games. It's actually nice because I enjoy obviously the job that NBC is giving me, but it can be awkward at times being that close quarters with like players and coaches you don't know. It's kind of nice being with like this whole team. I know them now. Like I came in today to practice. I'm like, hey, I was just like, I'm almost working for Detroit. Who knows?
Who knows what this can lead to down the road with the Pistons?
No, for real. Yeah. It's a very friendly environment right now, so I get to be around the team. And today I got to like catch up with Tobias, Cade, some of these guys I got to just talk to, just chilling there. Like really cool guys. Obviously, grew up playing against Tobias, but yeah, I love it. It's and they're fun to watch. They're good.
I wonder if Cade knows that you've just been in the forefront of this like Cade movement.
Well, I told him. Well, listen, he definitely got the idea that I'm a fan of his game. Just even by the interview, I was like, they weren't like complicated, complex questions. I was like, being a basketball hoop lover fan, I go, your nickname's the smooth operator. How is it that you're able to finish these games so smooth? I'm just continue just the whole time. I'm just like, you're everything was such an alley-oop for him. I'm just like, your nickname's the smooth operator.
I understand why you're nicknamed that, but can you explain to everybody else why you're
just keep. My first question is, I go, you keep taking leaps and leaps. I go, you just keep getting better and better every year. Now it's a superstar. What ways he's just probably just like, I like doing these interviews.
That's too good.
Yeah,
is he your man?
He's one of my. I told him after, I go, you're one of my top 3 or 4 players in the league, huh?
Could he be first team All NBA this year? Is that what it's looking like?
I put him first team All NBA.
It's him and Luka, right? It would be him and Luka probably fighting it out.
Yeah. I just think for what he's done with Detroit, I would put him up there. We'll see how the season finishes.
I saw some people online saying Tyrese Maxey is pushing up there for an All NBA.
Another guy who rightfully so can put his name in that hat. I mean, there's a crew of them. When you start to think about it, it's like you got Maxey, Cade, Luka, Shea. Those are the 4 guards right now. Probably playing.
Poor Donovan Mitchell, who's just right under there probably, but all he does is score 1 million points every game. Like, you know what I mean? That's crazy.
Donovan's. He continually always kind of gets pushed under the rug or radar. It's like people talk about the best 2 guard, they immediately go to Devin or Ant. He's always kind of gotten that back seat, which is probably not fair to him because he's so consistent. He's very good. He's, again, having another fantastic year, bro. When we call his games, the shit he does something each night that leaves you like, wow, special talent. But I'd put those 4.
I feel like what people don't realize, unless you've seen him in person, is Donovan Mitchell is underrated. He's actually a lot shorter than people think. I know he plays above the rim and he plays strong and big, but he's actually a lot shorter. He's like 6'2" or something like that. Like he's a lot shorter than people think.
No, he's like 6'1". Yeah. He's like 6'1", bro. You don't realize it until you're next to him and you're like talking to him. You're like, you're not that big, bro. He plays like he's 6'8". You know what I mean? Like I've seen you get a rebound and dunk off vert. Do you remember he like Euro stepped? This is like his first year, rookie year, versus the Rockets in the playoffs. He did that Euro step off one leg and shot that floater and then followed his own shot off one step and cocked it back with one hand and dunked it. The whole Jazz bench got up like, yo, because this dude is 6'1". He's not like 6'7" who can quickly get up there and put it back in. He shot that floater had to take a quick step and get all the way up there. I mean, just a freak talent. That play, yeah, clip that when I say that. He was a monster. It still is. And you could make an argument, first team Donovan, you know what I mean? Valid too. His team's very good despite all the injuries. Obviously, they had a great year last year, but they'll get back to that energy at some point this season. Their team will catch a rhythm when they get all healthy. But if I had to be honest, like that first group is like I have to put Shea and Luka and Maxey, and then I would put Cade in maybe a different category as of right now.
Since our last pod, one of the best games of the NBA happened. It happened to be during the NBA Cup. It was the Spurs OKC game. The best part of this for the NBA was the build-up before that. I feel like these comments about Jalen Williams went viral. He's saying they'd beat the 96 Bulls and they'd beat the Warriors. It's funny how that happens where he comes out and he says you beat all these good teams and you lose that night. And then Wemby talking about what's easy to do this if you're Chet, if you have the MVP on the floor. And he's like talking. There was a lot of build-up to this game. Wemby coming back after missing a few weeks. It was just like the perfect cinema for the NBA Cup for it to happen. I'm sure Adam Silver was super happy. But, I mean, I think you were pretty shocked that the Spurs were able to beat them, right? Or are you not shocked at all?
No, I'm not shocked because, first off, any NBA team can beat any NBA team in one game, okay? Let's just be clear. In one game, anybody can win. Just like in the NCAA tournament, you know what I mean? We're not talking about guys who like don't know how to play basketball. We're talking about the best players in the world here in the NBA. So you have to go out there and respect every opponent, let alone a team with the young, talented star power like San Antonio brings and offers. They offer their own element, and they're long. Obviously, with Wemby out there, they're athletic, and they got a lot of capable guards. Whether it's De'Aaron Fox, whether it's Harper, they got talented wings: Vassell, Kelvin Johnson, Castle, and then you got Wemby. And then you have Sohan who plays hard. Like they got a lot of talent on that team, and they're young, they're hungry. I think they are in close proximity of OKC, and OKC just continues to get all this praise in the front office. Look at all those talented players; they're so deep. San Antonio feels it, and Wemby wants it. Wemby's very competitive with Chet, and I think at this point, Wemby believes and sees himself beyond Chet, and he believes he's the best basketball player on the floor. Alluding to his comments, talking about, listen, I know Nicola's great, I know these other guys are great. When I'm on the floor, I feel like I'm better than anybody. You know what I mean? Like I love that shit. I love the amount of talking he's been doing, even in the game. He backs it up, so I'm okay with it, and it shows this other side of him. This summer he was he's always been very soft spoken. He's very calculated. He's very reserved. Whether this summer he does his own thing. Every camera that's on him is strategic because he's not just out in the open like that. So if there's shots of him, it's supposed to be shot. Whether he's with monks or he's doing this or private workouts, it's all very calculated. And then in the game, you see this other side of him where he's like talking trash, and it's like I love that because that's you. That's you being a competitor and human.
And that's him spending some time with Kevin Garnett this summer too, I think, right?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe you got a little KG, which would not be a bad thing. I would love a little KG to rub off on Wemby. So I'm all for that, and it was refreshing. It shows like listen, we have all these people complaining. The NBA is not like the 90s, early 2000s. There's no competitive spirit, blah, 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 blah. And then we see Wemby out there talking trash, hitting a turnaround on Caruso, pointing at him. Even last night, Dillon Brooks get into a LeBron. People are like, Dillon needs to be squad. He's ridiculous. Well, then which way do y'all want it? Do you want everybody to count down to LeBron and like be buddy-buddy to him? And then y'all complain and say like, oh, LeBron never played with guys like Jordan. He always – and then now he has guys that go at him and now you guys don't like it. It's like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? And LeBron's seen it all. He's been in the NBA for 20-something years. You know how many versions of Dillon Brooks have come along and try to ruffle his feathers? He could give a shit. I think if anything, it brings him life and energy. I think he enjoys it, gives him a reason to get turned up. Otherwise, everything's just like on a nice, slow decel for him as he coasts out in the NBA, however which way he wants. It's probably nice every once in a while he gets those little, you know what I mean? It probably reminds him of like early days going against some of these competitors, whether it's Tony Allen or the Boston days or the Pistons going against a Rasheed or, Big Ben. All these guys used to foul him hard when he I'm sure he goes against someone like Dillon Brooks and like brings back that. I would imagine he probably loves it. You don't get that often. And I actually love what Dillon Brooks. Now, we'll talk about that. I don't know if you want to segue into that game last night. Did you watch?
We got to spend a little time on the Spurs OKC thing, but we're definitely going to touch up on the Brunson.
Okay, yeah, all right, fair enough.
If you
will. Yeah, well, I guess to circle that back, the Spurs aren't far away. I also like Shea's comments when they asked him. They said, "Do you think this is a team that could potentially be your rival in the future?" He said, "I don't know, but I would assume so." He said they're very good. We, basically said, like, I got to see more from them. They beat us tonight. Okay, cool. Let's see if you could beat us in April. But or whatever that be, March, whatever that is. Yeah, April. Yeah, so it's just one of those things where, I like their start. What do you think? I mean, I don't know.
Well, how do you feel about? So obviously Wemby was going to be on a minutes restriction. How do you feel about the way they did it, where they didn't play him in the first quarter at all, and then he was able to play down the stretch? I thought that was really cool and a smart way to do it, right? Other guys would have started their guy in the minutes restriction, and then the whole game he wouldn't be able to get into a rhythm. He'd play like pockets of 5 minutes here and there. That was
I like
cool
it
in the first quarter. Yeah,
I like it. I don't know what the minute. I could be old school in this regard. I really could. I don't get the whole minute restriction thing, and the reason I say that is I understand the idea of it. Someone's coming back from an injury, or someone has one that's been bothering them. You play them a certain amount of minutes. You allocate a certain amount of minutes to protect their body, protect their health. I get the concept of it. My only problem is in a cup game where you're trying to win this thing, $500,000 for each player in the team, which would be huge, obviously, for the back end of the roster. You could play 25 minutes, but you can't play 27.
So you're saying you should be able to bend the rules? Like I remember in the Last Dance, Arthur got pulled out in like a must-win game, like right when the clock struck his middle.
And he's like sitting over there, like, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and go to the gym and hoop again. Like, what are we doing? Do you understand what I'm saying? So he can play 25.
I've seen it before where players have a minute restriction, the team times it out right, but then they go to overtime and that player doesn't play in overtime, and you're like,
what is he doing? Tough. And he's over there just like. So like I get it, because if the player gets injured in that game, then it's the trainer's fault. So I understand from a protection standpoint why they do this. I'm just telling you, in normacy, like anywhere else, whether it's college, especially AAU, if you play, you play. If you could play, you can play. What is it? If it's going to give out, then he should be playing anyway.
Well, so like, what about with Wemby? You got to be a little more strategic. He's like 7'5" the way he moves.
No, I hear you. So I'm not saying he's got to play 42 minutes. I'm not saying he's got to. But like when they're like minute restriction, he's not going to play the whole first quarter is extreme. It's like you couldn't have played the first 4. You couldn't have played him the first 4 minutes, and then he sits out the next 8 with timeouts.
Okay,
it's like
so you didn't like it then. You didn't like it.
No, I don't think it's just too much. It's too much. He couldn't have played the first 4 minutes and then sat out the next 8 with timeouts and everything included. That's like 25 minutes on the bench of rest. Like, what are you talking about? Bro, he could have easily, bro.
Is that the blueprint on how to beat the Thunder? By the way, it's like get the ball out of Shea's hands and hope like Lou Dort misses. Pretty much is like what. That's like the way to do it.
Yeah, get the ball in that guy's hands. Somebody else got to beat us. I think we overvalue some of these dudes. Again, I think Lou Dort's a really good player. I think he's good. Really good might be a stretch. I think he's a good role player. I think Alex Caruso's a good role player. I don't think these guys can make plays and decisions by themselves. I think they're niche players that are in an NBA era where they are very, very valued and glorified. And that doesn't, and rightfully so. They're defensive, high IQ'd, defensive basketball players. High IQ'd offense players is not what I would label them. So on offense, they got to make plays. If they're going to be out there, and I say this to say this, we always do it the other way. The NBA does that. Basketball and smart teams, obviously, you saw San Antonio do this. People always target the weak defenders, right? Remember Stephen Curry's crazy. That's me. Stephen Curry early on in his career, they would target. Even now, pick a team, whether it's New York, whether it's Brunson, or if it's Cleveland, it's Garland. I can go down the list. If it's Denver, it's Nikola. They always target the guy who they feel. Luka, right? The guy who we play pickup basketball all the time. The weak link on the team, did they not get called up in the pick and roll every play?
Who was that player when last time I played?
Sometimes it was you. So why wouldn't you do the same thing on the other end? Right? That's what the smart teams do. Okay, well, just like we target the guys on defense, we're gonna target certain offensive players. You have to score. And if you do, congrats. We're not saying Caruso and Dort aren't capable of hitting shots. We know Dort is. But you're gonna have if we lose that way, that's okay. Because this other way is too efficient and
The
potent.
flip side, I've seen like the stats where if Jokic scores too much, the Nuggets usually lose. So it's like
There's an even balance because what happens is when a guy starts rolling, then you start trying to stop him. So he already has his points, but now everyone else starts eating because he starts picking everybody else apart. So you can't give him everything. So you got to take away something. What people are seeing with OKC is okay. Well, we're gonna take away Shea. We're gonna try this out. We're gonna. He's been, brother. Think about this. Past 2-3 years, he's been on a tear. He's just destroying everyone. It's 30 every night. He don't even play the fourth, and he has 30. So something's got to give. I think they were like, yo, we got athletic wings, guys who could switch, San Antonio, and we are going to show ultimate crowds with Shea. He's going to have to play in length the entire time without fouling. No fouling with him. And we're going to live with his tough shot attempts, and we're going to force him to have to trust his teammates, which he does. And those guys are capable of making shots, but you can live with the results. You can live with those. Was Jalen Williams playing in that cup game? So that's who has to beat you. And he's very good. So Jalen can. That's why the Thunder are very good. Because they have other players that can. But that's Spurs are willing to take that. You can't have,
Do you feel like this win kind of takes them out of the Giannis sweepstakes? Because you're like, listen, we can compete with this OKC team now. We have these younger players coming up.
I've been told you that trade didn't make any sense. The rest of the world is spilling out this nonsense.
Because Giannis can only, since you have to give up so much for him, Giannis can only go to a team that has a bunch of good players that if he goes there,
here lies the riddle that everyone is stuck in.
Everyone uses Kevin Durant. Everyone uses Kevin Durant going to the Suns as the cautionary tale.
Because this is what we're at now. Because these transactions have happened and haven't been profitable, or however you want to say it, it hasn't been positive for these teams giving up so much for a star that can help you win right now. First off, it applies pressure to the front office and to the coach. If you get a player like a Giannis or a Kevin Durant, you have to win right now. You have to compete. It's a certain pressure that some teams, some players, some coaches don't want to be in. They'd rather get there organically through what they've drafted instead of having to get this foreign guy in here. Now everything has to change with the new offense, new. It's a lot. And you have this pressure. Most importantly, what Pausha you just alluded to, if I have to give everybody up for him, when he comes here, who the hell we have left around him? We're no better than what we were before. If anything,
and by the time you build around him, he's already 31. He's going to be starting to get out of his prime. Yeah.
He's already so it's like that's the problem is because Giannis is still right now so good. So the asking price for him, rightfully so and warranted, is very, very high. The problem is with it being so high and with him not being 23. If you trade for a Giannis and you give up everything, then he's left with pretty much what he's got. He's going to be right. He's going to end up getting traded to a team that's worse than the team he's on right now. He's going to end up going to one of these other East Coast, one other team that's going to give the whole thing for him, and then he's going to be stuck back in the square. He's going to be like, well, wait.
That's why we like the Rockets move for KDs because they still kept Şengün and Thompson.
Because they got you got to keep yes,
and that's why that would make sense. Yeah,
and this is where Milwaukee has to be careful. It's a great point, Pausha. This is where Milwaukee has to be careful. Phoenix had an asking price that was so absurd for Kevin for so long. Remember, they were trying to move him the whole lot. It got down to the point where they had to take what they can get. Then Houston's able to be like, all right, well, listen, this is what we got. We got Jalen Green, we got Dillon Brooks, That they wouldn't have took that right away. Yeah. Remember, like when they first, Katie, they wanted the whole rebuild again. Everyone's like, no, we're not giving it. They eventually got a nice little package. They got Dillon Brooks, who's been great. Jalen Green, it's actually been pretty good for Phoenix. They're having a solid year. But look at their team. There ain't nothing. They didn't get back first round picks with that. Like Rockets didn't have to give up much, and they kept all their key guys, and they got Kevin. Like they got to keep all their pieces. The Thompson and Şengün, all the guys they really are building around are Jabari Smith. They're all still there. All right, the original Phoenix, they would have wanted Jabari or a sort. They're asking for everything. So
they didn't have to get. They couldn't give up the Jabari. Like Jabari Smith, literally is like KD's position, pretty much.
Yeah, they couldn't give up. They couldn't get any of them. They didn't get any of them. So the asking price it's like having a $50 million house in the market. When the house is worth 40 or 30, it's 50 at first, and then 6 months on the market, it drops to 40, and then it drops and then at some
But
point
you've,
you're going to
you've
take what
covered you've covered some Phoenix games this year. They seem a little relieved that they got off the Brad Beal and Kevin Durant. Now they're just playing a kind of different kind of basketball without the
they're
big name
playing free
star.
basketball
Well,
without any what,
yeah.
without any expectation.
Right.
It's a beautiful thing to play. I've been asking my father to do it for years. For years, I've been asking him, please, for the life of me. I talked about it today at shoot around with Tobias Harris for 15 minutes, dog. We talked about this with my pops. He's like, bro, I love your pops. He just always takes these tough. It's been spot after spot after spot. He keeps taking these win now teams that you have to win with. And if you don't, you get fired or you're the bad guy or you're not a good enough coach. He goes, and they're teams that are always good, but they're not like great enough. But because a certain player or two's on the roster, you're expected to win. So he's with the Philly team. Philly team was good. They were very good. They weren't win a championship good. Remember James and Embiid, but you got Embiid on your team who's an MVP. You got to win. So when they lost, even though they lost to the team that won it all, Boston, who they were supposed to and who they were favored to lose against, he still gets fired. Then you go to Milwaukee, you're with another MVP. Before that, you're with the. It's just like.
But if you're Doc, you can't turn down the opportunity to coach Joel Embiid. You can't turn down the opportunity to coach Giannis. Like these are like guys these are top. These are MVPs.
I disagree, man. I disagree, and I understand where you're coming from on that. I'm
The
telling you,
challenge of
selfishly,
coaching an MVP like that and lifting him up, like I don't know.
oh, I agree with you. I'm just saying from his son. I'm saying from his personal, biased, selfish standpoint. I would
Okay.
like him. I look at JB Bickerstaff, dog. I look at Kenny Atkins. I look at a lot of these guys who get to start these revamped, fresh start, Ime Udoka. These guys get to start refreshed, revamped, young teams that have a 6-7 year window, 4 or 5 year window where you can build up with young players who want to listen. My dad keeps taking these older vet win now roster teams, and it's just always chaos, dog. It's always a drama because if you don't lose, then you got to trade the player.
That's like the Joel Ben Simmons thing wasn't working, and your dad was brought in to kind of make it work. Then Dame and Giannis was off to a shaky start, wasn't working like people
Bro,
thought.
it's a
He was brought
fiasco
into like
wherever. It's a fiasco. He's always in a fiasco. The Clippers thing was a fiasco. Then the James Harden and the Ben Simmons fiasco. Then he goes here. Now the Greek Freak wants it. It's like, God, can you just go to a team with like a 22-year-old who's the best player? And like the expectation for you guys is to get there, not win right now. Can you go enjoy coaching? Your best years that he's told me coaching was the year where Chris and Blake, remember everybody left the Clippers team and he had all these hard-working, like hard-nosed young players. We weren't that great. We were a playoff team at best, but it was fun coaching us. All right. He had a good time coaching that group that I was on. And then even when I left, that group right after with Shea and Lou and Pat Beverly and Montrez, they went to the first round versus the Warriors and lost. No, they didn't win a championship, but everyone was like, man, Doc coached his ass off. Man, that team works hard. Man, they play hard. That's what I want my dad to do that. I look at JB Biggers, I see all these guys have it. And if you're lucky, then you get to get a Cade or you get a, one of these guys thrown in there that you can grow up with and kind of grow. That's what I want to see with my pops. You know what I mean? That's what I would like to see.
So you're saying, obviously a coach's dream would be able to have like a guy like Cade or a young guy be your best player and you can grow with him. Do you think there's pressure for Mitch Johnson for the Spurs, like filling in for one of the best coaches of all time, Popovich, who was there for 30 years, to come in? But at the same time, he gets to grow with this young group. It's not like he's taking over and it's like a Kawhi Spurs team. It's a young group that he gets to grow with.
Great question. There's two sides of the coin. One side of it is you are filling the shoes of arguably the greatest coach of all time in a very historic, high level, high functioning organization and franchise. R.C. Buford has ran that franchise along with his colleagues at a top high level. They've set the blueprint. Shit, hell, half the NBA coaches right now in the NBA come from the Spurs. All right, all of them. And then people are like, oh, the other ones come from the Warriors. Steve Kerr came from San Antonio. They all come from there somehow. And then the only other person you could say is maybe Miami's got their own thing with Riley and but everyone knows the Spurs is the standard. So to fill that void of Popovich, especially it's not like it was a big retirement that they had planned and announced. He had got sick his health started to have some issues here. May he get well, by the way, and hopefully he's doing great. When he left, like that's a lot to be asked to come in and like take this and You know what I mean? Then you got this huge star that you got to like come in carefully and mesh with. That's a lot. All right. So you got to give him that. It's a lot. It's big shoes to fill. On the other side of the
by the way,
coin,
just because you get a Wemby doesn't mean like you're just like you're good. Like I got Wemby, we're gonna be a coach. Like LeBron got drafted to Paul Silas. He wasn't his coach like a couple of
no,
years. Like
it's a big responsibility. No,
right?
nothing. In fact, it's even there's a lot of. That's why I said there's two sides of the coin. There's a lot of pressure there. You have to make it work with him because if you don't, you're out. Like you and Wemby have to be on the same page. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Right.
And they will never, ever risk having a guy around Wemby that he doesn't like because he's Wemby. He's too important to the franchise. He's the future. So that's a big deal, man. That's a lot of pressure for a coach to come into, and he's done a great job. So you have to give him that credit, man. You have to give him that respect. On the other side of the coin, it is a great situation to come into. You know what I'm saying? I compare it, and it's different because this guy came in from eternally. You know, they promoted him. It's kind of like a Missoula thing. You know, they saw someone they liked who was a basketball junkie. The players liked him and respected him. They promoted him, and it's gone well, right? Very Missoula-esque. But in terms of the pressure, Missoula had a lot because that team is very similar. He had to come in, and he was with this championship team like, yo, go win.
They had just won. They had just went to the finals against the Warriors.
So it's very similar. In that regard, you know what I mean? Just the pressure being there and being kind of promoted to like a level like that, following him. And Brad Stevens is there. I mean, like, good God, this is a lot to replace. Steve Kerr kind of came in and remember, Mark Jackson built all that out in Golden State. And then they moved him, and Steve came in. It's like, here you go. That's a lot. On the other side of the coin, like I said, it's also a great thing to be able to get this starting out. I'd rather have that than with a bunch of dudes that can't hoop. It's kind of nice having Wemby and Stephen Castle and Kelvin. But look at all these dudes that are drafted. Harper, good God. It's not a bad startup, right? So there's two sides of the coin. And he's done a great job, but it comes with work.
I feel like you have a lot of respect specifically for the Spurs because OKC is so far away above everyone that you could easily, especially with a good draft right now, be like, listen, OKC has this little era right now. We're going to sit back, collect draft picks. We can't beat them anyways. Seems like the Spurs are like, no, we can beat them. And that's kind of like your Rockets team with the Warriors, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
So if you're the Spurs, do you feel like the Wemby timeline, and we've touched on this before in the past pods, that Wemby timeline, instead of thinking you're going to have this guy for so long, because he is often injured, whether it's fluke or not, this body and how unique he is, how much are you like, we got to win now versus we have time, let's build this thing out?
I think we try to. I think you try to win every year, and if you don't, that's okay because his timeline's long. But that just means if we're trying every year for 10, 15 years, we're going to get a couple. We can Dirk this thing. You know what I'm saying? Dirk, they tried once they got him, they built around him, and some years they failed, some years they didn't, but he got a ring there, and he's a legend there, and it worked out for everybody. It's advantageous for everybody who's involved. The owner, the front office, everyone was, you know what I'm saying? So
of course.
This whole thing where people like have to wait for this window. The window he's there now. He's very good. Go draft well. They have. Go get some good players. They have. They're like, yo, we're going for it right now. Just going to give OKC these 2-3 years, just let them just run off rings? Hell no. They're not unbeatable. They just won for their first time last year. The year before, they got tricked off by Dallas. Like, they just lost in the cup.
They didn't play good in the playoffs last year, like up to their standards.
No, for real. And so my point is, like, listen, I love OKC, okay, guys? I know the world right now is like, they're unbeatable, delete. But I see these gross, cringy-ass videos where people are like, Adam Silver has to step in. They're just too good. Ew. Like, I'm talking. They're too good, bro. They're having a great start. Remember, Cleveland was 15-0 last year. Relax. Now, I understand OKC is better than that. I understand OKC is very good. I understand they have the best player, arguably, in basketball. I'd say the second best player. The best player plays in Denver. But the second best player in the NBA right now, or third, counting Luka, is Shea. They got him, and then you got this talent behind him with Chet and Jalen Williams and all these young players and these guys that you've never even heard of who they find who can play. I get it. They got the picks next year. It's a scary thing. I'm not saying these things aren't real. Just don't gross me out with the unbeatable.
That's the thing. You don't gross Austin out, please.
Yeah, don't make them immortal. Okay, these put on their sneakers and go out there and
Austin,
anybody.
do You know how
And
many
they ain't won.
times?
Now, listen, they win this year and they win next year, then you can start making those videos like, hey, yo, they've won 3 in a row now and they're not slowing down. I'm nervous. Then you can make a video. You don't get one championship and then get it off to a good start the following season and be like, we got to do something. It's like, bro, what are you talking about?
Well, people don't forget there's so many things that play into it, whether there's players feuding with the coach, players wanting more money, injuries, there's so many things that go into it. You don't just like pencil in a team for so many wins in a row. I mean, the Warriors made how many finals in a row? 2015, 16, 17, 18. And they had.
And guess what? And then Draymond and Katie start arguing. All right, I'm just telling you, everything winning always brings something. It always brings a new element. It brings new successes, new pressures, and that can change things. It always does. If you think this is the Thunder team, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back in the past, in the history, and the OKC's been here before. They had a very good young startup. What happened? Someone wanted a little more. His name is James Hart. All right, James left. Yeah, they could have gave it to him. And I think Presti's even talked about that before. He's like one of the very, I mean, he's regarded as the best president in basketball. I think we all can agree that's probably true. I don't even think it's a debate at this point. One of the very small and few blips, I wouldn't say small, but one of the very few blips he has made was the Harden thing. But again, it's hard to keep them all. And it's hard to judge which one to do, and this one will fit, and this one we need. Well, we need a center, and we need this, or we already have. It always happens, okay?
People forget also back then you thought you needed a big man. Like you needed Ibaka and Perkins. Like now we know you could have 3 dynamic perimeter players and it's gonna work out fine. Like back then they were probably like, we have Russ, we have KD, like we need the big.
Choosing
remember back
Ibaka
then that's the way it was.
Choosing Ibaka over Hart is just it's crazy. It's crazy. And I love Ibaka. Ibaka was a good player, man, but James is like an all-time. He's the 3rd greatest shooting guard of all time. But again, no one knew in Sam Presti's defense, everyone knew James was very good. No one knew he could be that. The Clippers gave away Shea for Paul George. They liked Shea. They thought Shea was going to be talented. No one knew Shea was going to be the face of the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like, or one of the faces. By the way, good God, how much traction did that get? The damn Shea could be bigger, but he's not. People I disagree with you, Austin. Shea is a star. Who the hell said Shea isn't a star? I said he's a. Are you not listening? Can you unclog your ears? I'm saying he's a big star. I believe he should be the biggest. What is wrong with you? People are like, he is the biggest. I'm like, okay.
Austin, hey, we talked about this the other day when we were together. One thing we didn't bring up on the pod is the fact that he was a late bloomer. Like a lot of these guys, Cooper Flag, LeBron, you can name it. We've seen them since they were in high school and they were McDonald's All-Americans.
That might be a valid point actually, because like LaMelo is just as big as him, and LaMelo ain't done shit that Shea's done, but it's just because he's been famous since he was 7.
Right, we grew up with them and we've seen them forever. Shea, up until like 3 years ago, was really like a top guy. He wasn't like this guy that we followed.
No, that's very valid. That's valid. I mean, I grew up watching I watched like LaMelo ride his bike for the first time, like on YouTube. I'm like, go Melo, go! You know what I mean? Like, it is a little different. I hear you.
What did you think about Wemby's comments after the game when he's like, it feels good to win ethical basketball, like just straight shots right to the Thunder for flopping and all the things that they do?
They do though. Listen. This has been a hot topic for the Thunder for the past year and a half, highlighted by their best player. Okay. It is a skill to get to the free throw line like that, because if everyone could get as many free throws as Shea, they would. Okay. It is a skill to know how to foul bait, to use your body, to use your arms, to know how to draw and get fouls. It is a known thing that they reach and gamble and hack more than anybody in the NBA. Watch their wings, because they're all known as good defenders. They all get away, bro. They are just slapping down.
That Caruso play where Wemby yelled at him. Caruso was just like,
he slapped the ball the first time, then he goes back at it again, smacks his wrist. I mean, they reach the entire game. They do, and they are one of the better defenders, the greatest defensive team in the NBA. I get all that, but they do get away with a lot, and they do get a lot of calls on the other side, and a lot of it is Listen. I'm not saying it's not skill, because if everyone could do it, they could. So you got to tip your hat. You got to tip your hat to OKC. Is it pretty? It's not. It's not pretty. Is it effective? Absolutely. Are they what they're doing works? Absolutely. Would I stop doing what they're doing? No. They're doing everything that I would do. So I'm not going to say it's wrong or them or this is because I'd be contradicting. That's all I would be doing. I'd be a hypocrite. But at the same time, again, we're playing both sides of the coin on multiple topics here. Just going to be fair on both sides of the fence. If we're going to be honest, is it a pretty brand of basketball? It's not. And
and by the way, the internet has come to them as like, that's a deep insult. It's not ethical basketball. This is not pure hoops. Like
I'm not going that far. I'm not saying what they're doing is unethical. I'm not going to say that. I don't want to say that. I know I just kind of alluded to that and I said comments. I don't want to say it's unethical. I know Wemby said that, but like, it is what it is. I don't think it's the most attractive thing to look at, but you can't deny they're a great team. They play hard. They do a lot of the other things right. That's the problem with me is that's not the only reason they win games.
Right. Like they have an MVP candidate on the like
they have an MVP candidate, guys. They have Chet, they have Jalen Williams. They have very good defensive players. They're very well coached. They all like each other. They're closer in the huddles after the game. They're a good basketball club. Let's not get distracted. Now, this is a component of them. It is.
Oh, you are a little back and forth today, though.
I'm being honest, though, because it is both things. Two things can be true. I do think they play a certain style of basketball that you look at and you're just like, yeah, this is nasty, man. And you guys are getting away with it right now because you're the best team in the league and you got an MVP and like what you're doing right now is manipulating the game and it's kind of nasty. And it does help them win games. At the same time, let's not let that cloud the fact that they are a great basketball club. All right.
Yeah.
So it's both sides. I see it.
Well, the Spurs are going to go from one accused foul baiter to another one with Jalen Brunson. A lot of people on the internet kind of go at him for doing the same kind of basketball. But
I love JB. He's one of my favorite players. I love him. The only thing I hate is the whipping the head back thing.
Yeah.
It's the coming off the screen and whipping the head back. I would choke him and I'd put him in a chokehold. if he did that to me more than 3 times, the third one, I'd just grab him and I'd hold him just like this. I'm like, they'd have to kick me out. I get kicked out second quarter. I hate that shit. But other than that, he's my favorite player. I love watching him play, man. This guy's the fact that he could – he's a 6 foot, is Josh Hart jokingly. What the hell was Josh Hart doing giving his kid away? What the hell was that goofy shit? I like Josh, but some shit he be doing, I'm like, is that real or is that for the camera? You know how he is. He's always got a way to make a funny moment because he wants to –
Who caught the kid? Mitchell Robinson?
I don't know, but Mitchell's like, what the f- doing this? It's just like it seems he's just.
Are you surprised by Mitchell Robinson's love for trucks? I feel you're a car guy. Did you see that one coming?
No, it doesn't surprise me at all. I got to play with him for a year on the Knicks. He likes raised pickup trucks. He's always doing crazy shit to him too. It's not like a truck with some tires and some wheels on it. He's got like the whole underneath of his car looks like a city. There are so many lights going on. Shit, I don't know what's going on down there. He's got these pickup trucks and he likes country music. You know what I'm saying? So like it kind of fits. He's a country boy, I believe. Where's he from?
Really? We got to look at where he's from if our producer could do that. He's the best probably offensive rebounder in the NBA, I would say. He just seems like he gets every offense.
He's very quiet. He's a quirky guy. Mitchell Robinson looks like one of those dudes that was homeschooled his whole life. His personality is like very to himself, kind of like, reserved, into his own things, doesn't broadcast what he wants or is into. Pensacola, Florida, baby. From the house.
He'll take it. But if you don't know anything, we know this about Florida, but other people don't. The further north you go in Florida, the more southern it is. That's what people need to realize about Florida.
Yeah. When you get into Florida, the more north you go, the more south you actually get. The more south you go, you think you're in little Havana. You're just like, what the hell? You start getting dance moves you've never had before.
You've had too many rants on this pod over the last couple of years where you're like, how does Miami not get more free agents? And you're just like, I think we've clipped that out like 6 times.
I don't understand it for the life of me, how they just don't have a powerhouse of a team every year.
Would you do a free agent visit or would you just do a DocuSign straight to the phone?
I send me a DocuSign, I'm there. If you give me a max, if I'm a max player and they offer me max in Miami, there's no other place in the world you could live that's a better quality of life. To have no income tax. In the world. I'd live in Florida. It's so funny. I see people in the comments, there's Florida. Thank God I don't live there. Good. Stay the out. Beat it. We don't want you here. We already got enough people from up north coming down here. I don't want to wait 45 minutes to go to my favorite breakfast spot because all you all on TikTok. So now you want to flood into my community and start flooding around my areas, making shit complicated for me to move around. I don't like going to Miami for Basel anymore because it's flooded with God knows what. It used to just be like simple times. Now like Alec Monopoly's up there just like DJing with a bunch of God. I don't like. I'm off it. I'm out of it. I'm out of it. I love Florida. Stay away. Stay out. All you people that hate on Florida, stay that way.
Give me your prediction. Knicks Spurs. How does it go?
I got the Spurs taking it. Once they beat the Thunder, their confidence right now is through the roof. There's no way they beat the Spurs. There's no way you beat OKC and then you lose to the Knicks. You beat OKC and you're brother. Right now they're on it. They're locked in. They're like, yo, we're the best team in the NBA. We can do this. You start even believing these things. They're not the best team in the NBA. OKC is, but you beat the best team and you think we're the best team. We're the team that now look at the media. Are they the team that can compete with OKC? You start waking up there. We are the team. We are. You know what I mean? Like. You start like that's how fast things can change. It snowballs in the right direction. And with confidence is a dangerous drug. I think they can use that and come in tonight and win. Now, all this could be snapped in a matter of a minute or two. JB comes out hitting a couple threes. Shea gets in foul trouble. We got a different ball game. Anything can happen in one game. But if I was a betting man, which I'm not, if I was, I'd put a little money on San Antonio and just take this thing all the way.
Gotcha. So you started talking about the Dillon Brooks LeBron fight, scuffle, whatever you want to call it. If you want to kind of touch back up on that, because I interrupted you when you were. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, first of all, people are hating on like LeBron. People coming at LeBron like John Starks and Reggie Miller went at Michael Jordan too. Like you want people to challenge, like you said, these guys. You know what I mean? So like this is healthy and good. Now Dillon Brooks has just been a repeat guy with LeBron. Seems like every time they play.
He's got a hard on for Bron. Pause, but no pause. He does, and he's always doing extra shit with him, but he's competitive. And I think Dillon grew up watching LeBron be one of the greats, and everyone knows LeBron's one of the greatest players of all time, if not the. And you got an opportunity to have a feud with him and have like this thing with like when he plays you, you know he gets up. That's cool, man. And Dillon is a guy who chases competitive environments and spirits and energies. He locks in. He stares at the other team's best player before the game. He finds different ways to have a chip on his shoulder. And, bro, what do you want? We got guys, Dillon Brooks, mind you, makes $20 million a year. So now you got a guy who makes millions every year and still shows up every single night staring at the other team's best player, plays with a high energy, plays his heart out. You got a problem with that guy? But then we got a problem with half these other stars who don't play half the year and sit out and choose when to play, and they don't play. This dude, and I know he's not a star, but he makes a lot of money, and he busts his ass every game. Now, you have to live and breathe with his mistakes, his wins and losses, because that's Dillon Brooks. He's a funky player. He's not a superstar. He's not even an all-star. But he is having a good year, and he's a valid pro, and a guy who's very capable of scoring. He averages 20 points per game in the NBA. Plus, ain't no scrub averaging nothing near that. Scrubs don't even average, 8, 9, 10 points a game validates you as a good player and pro in the NBA, let alone a guy who can average a dub or more. So he's a proven very good player and a guy who competes every single night. You got to love that. And I love that he goes after one of the GOATs. He goes after LeBron. And hey, listen, he's had his faults. Think about it. This guy got destroyed on the national stage with Memphis. LeBron cooked his ass. And guess what? He hasn't changed one beat. He still goes after him. Every team he plays on don't matter. I love that shit. I guarantee you deep down, LeBron loves it. Not that many people go at him. All right? And you made a great point. Guys like Michael and Steph, they love that shit, man. These guys get off on it. They get off on it. They've seen it, by the way. They've seen it all. LeBron don't sweat nothing Dillon does, but I guarantee you he enjoys the little banter and the little hostile. It shit probably gives him something to just wake up and have a little extra pep in his step. Guys like Steph, Bron, KD, they've seen it all, man. They've had millions of these guys come at them or come at them and try to deter them. They probably enjoy it, especially at this stage in their career, to get a little bit of that. Everywhere else they go, they get their ass patted. Oh, LeBron. Oh, Steph, KD. Oh, you're my favorite. You're my favorite player. You're my favorite player. That's all they get, man, when they go places. And well-deserved. I guarantee you, deep down, as a hooper, LeBron probably was like, it's kind of nice every once in a while go at a guy like that. The guy who just wants to whether it's make a name, do this now, the disrespectful talk and the cheap shots, I'm sure that can,
I mean, it bit himself. He shot himself in the foot by making that three to take the lead.
I don't like that tech, by the way.
Over his body, yeah, he just bumped LeBron.
But he stopped himself. He bumped him and like kept it. Man, let him play, bro. Because LeBron had been doing that. Play before LeBron. Remember a couple minutes before scoring him early and was talking crazy to him. Like just at that point in the game, unless he is like overly physical, just let the dude just hit the game-winning three with 3 seconds left. Let him figure it out. Now LeBron ended up missing the free throw anyway, but then he made the game-winning free throws. Obviously, when they called the foul on Devin. Devin's really, and no disrespect, Devin lost him the game. He fouled a jump shooter with a game-winning three. People blaming Dillon. LeBron missed the free throw anyway. So what difference does it make? Like, who cares? That free throw didn't change. Nothing for them. They lost. They missed the free throw. What lost the game was fouling a three-point shooter. So I don't really know what people just don't like Dillon. You know what I'm saying? Like, but my thing is,
I think this year is his reputation absolutely has.
People are understanding
as a culture changer for sure.
People are understanding him. People are understanding his impact is positive. Don't get distracted by all the bullshit of like last night, the bump. That's who he is. Look at the impact he has on teams. Look at his numbers. Look at the team's overall spirit and how his teammates love him. Everyone likes him. He is a culture
raiser,
lifter upper, whatever you want to call it, a raiser. And I think people are starting to get around to that, and rightfully so. Dillon's earned that.
It's December 15th. That means it's officially a lot more players. Almost all of them now are eligible to be traded. So trade season is about to start. Do you have a team in mind that needs to make a move? Do you have players that need to be traded? For example, I know you want Michael Porter Jr. in a winning situation. He's playing really good. There's obviously like the John Morant, LaMelo, Trey, Zion, carousel everyone talks about. And like the Warriors, for example, Steph hits 12 threes, they lose. Looks like the Warriors need to make a move.
I got a couple situations, man.
Yeah.
Jaw's gotta get out of Memphis. I've seen it. I've seen the experiment. I'm over it. He's done a lot of great things there. He's had playoff runs there. He's a very talented player. I'd like a fresh start for him. Somewhere that makes sense. I would like him paired with another star. I don't want Ja to be the best player. I don't mind if he's one of them, meaning like if he's one or two. I just don't want him to be so standout alone. For that, I want him to be paired with someone that he can go to battle with realistically and actually compete. That's a fresh start out of Memphis. I think the market for him down there. I would like him a whole rebrand. He is a star. I would like him to be somewhere advantageous for him. Same thing with Zion Williams. The experiment there is done. I think he needs to move on. I think they already have something exciting with Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fears. Move on, see what you can get for Zion. Let's see if Zion can go somewhere else and have a fresh start where someone's going to hold him a little bit more accountable, maybe on a different time clock with him. We're like, hey, man, if you don't work out or if you don't want to play games here, man, you're out. I want to see that fired up Zion come to work and a fresh start with new blood, new energy. Those are the top two for me if we're talking stars. The Giannis thing will make its way. There's going to be such a haul for him. You got to be careful. We talked about that already of where he's going to go and who can do it. I think one of the very few teams is in your backyard. I don't think they should make it. This is a team that just made it to the Cup. They're playing good basketball with Paolo. I don't think the Magic need to make any major moves. They have a very good young starting core. You got De Silva, Anthony Black in terms of the side players, and then you start with Franz and Wagner. Franz and Paolo at the head. I think that's a good team that you can build in an East that's wide open. I don't think the Magic need to make a move. I just think they are one of the teams that, if you're talking about, could get the Greek Freak and not have to give the whole team, because like Apollo can take a lot. Apollo's a fresh start, 9 years of an all-star, man. There's a lot of teams that, Milwaukee's like, yo, what can we get for the Greek Freak? Apollo's a guy that comes and resets your whole franchise, dog. You know what I mean? That's a good rebuild with just that guy. Let alone you got KPJ. You got AJ Green. You got the who's the young kid, Rollins. Maybe you get Paolo and a De Silva for him and a first round pick. Now you got something rebuilding and restarting in Milwaukee, while Orlando gets to keep like a Suggs. They keep a Desmond Bane. You keep a Franz, and then you bring in the Greek Freak. Now suddenly you're contending for really for a title. That's I'll be honest. That's one of the better moves in terms of Giannis, I don't think the Magic need to make it. Let me be clear. I love Paulo Banchero in Orlando. They don't need to do shit. I'm saying that's one of the teams that could possibly pull it off if they wanted to. But the Giannis thing will take care of itself. I think Zion and Ja got to go. And then if we're talking like not star players, but guys, also Trey. I'd like Trey to get out of there too. Trey actually in Orlando, another guy. Trey could be in a lot of different spots. But those three, Ja, I mean, bro, we've been talking about Ja, Trey, and Zion being traded for like 4 years now, Pausha. It's like, 3 years. Those are the three at the top of the list I would like to see in fresh starts. It'd be good for the NBA just for circulation and new life, new exciting
times. Throw LaMelo in there and just mix it up. Now that
yeah, throw a little Melo in there.
By the way,
yeah, they came out today like, yo, we see Khan as our guy. It's happening.
We've seen enough.
We've seen enough. He had back-to-back 30-point games again. It's over. And with everything that's gone on with LaMelo, another dude. You put those four at the list in terms of stars: LaMelo, Trey, Zion, Ja. Those guys moving to new starts in terms of fan bases being excited that you got a player like that coming in, maybe getting the best version of him and motivated him. It's very exciting. Players below that, I got to start with this guy, man. Kuminga's got to go. He got a DMP the other day.
I don't know any. Really botched the Kuminga situation.
It's gone from worse to worse to worse to worse. I don't know anybody in the NBA who's getting paid $20 million, $25 million to not play. The other day, and it wasn't like he's hurt. They're not garnering an injury, that little minute restriction we talked about earlier. And that's not the case with him. He simply did not play. Now, it's one thing to not finish a game. It's one thing to only play 15 minutes, 10 minutes for Kuminga, a guy making $20 million, $25 million. He'd be like, yo, what the man? For a guy, man, we just talked about Dillon Brooks, same price range. Dillon plays, you know what I'm saying? For Kuminga to be sitting there at the end of the bench being like, I'm not playing a minute. Meanwhile, they don't bench Podziemski. They don't bench some of these other guys. Moody and I like Podziemski. I think Podziemski is a good role player. I think he's solid. And I like him in the lineup. So no disrespect to Podziemski. Kuminga is just a star talent who just like doesn't fit the system. They just bench him. And they had to pay him. They wouldn't let him go. They pay him again. And then he's sitting here. He's just like, yeah, it clearly doesn't work.
What did you say? They've just completely mishandled the last few years with Steph because getting Jimmy Butler, who at first it seemed like a good deal, but he's obviously a little past his prime and older. Kuminga, their young talent, paying him, so he's taking up space, but not playing him. Like, I feel like they're definitely a top team that needs to make a move because Steph is he's got 12 threes last night. Up until a few years ago, 12 threes was an NBA record in a game. Yeah. He had 12 threes in a loss.
Steph is still generational, and he only has a few years left, and I do believe it's being squandered.
Yeah,
I believe it's being mishandled. I don't really have anything else to say about that. I'm a Dunleavy guy. He's a Duke guy. It is what it is. I got a lot of respect for him. But I'm not a fan of and I'm not saying he was handed the easiest situation. He was handed the keys to a dynasty on the back end. So the moving parts in this to make these moves, even the Clay move was so emotional because of how much has gone on there, all the winning. It's a very hard situation to be in. I think the Clay situation was mishandled. Clay should still be there. I don't really care if he wasn't playing his best. He's still averaging 14 points a game. Mind you, Clay's better than every two guard they got there right now. So I don't really get it's comedy. They couldn't pay him or it's not like he got max. Like now he's just in Dallas playing like for whatever. He's like pulling up in like army fatigue fits and he's dating Megan. Now he's just like F it. I'm just gonna go down in Dallas and hoop and like whatever. He could have still rode out in the sunset with this group that he built this franchise with. It was mishandled. All right. The Jimmy thing, I don't mind that, but
we liked the Jimmy move when it happened. We definitely liked it when it happened.
I don't mind the Jimmy thing, but to your point, Pausha, you bring in Jimmy, but then you keep Kuminga, which plays the same position as Jimmy. So now you don't play Kuminga, who's a young player that had a lot of value, still probably does have a decent amount of value, who you don't play and clearly don't mesh well with, Kerr. Your coach doesn't at least. And he doesn't fit the team aspect, but you're still trying to win with Steph because that's why you brought in Jimmy. It makes no sense. It's just like they've mishandled it. Like if it's either you rebuild and then you just keep Steph and just rebuild the whole damn team, or Dre included, But since you're going to keep Dre and you're going to keep Steph and you're going to bring in Jimmy, why did you get rid of Clay? Why don't you get rid of Kuminga and like go get? You're not rebuilding with Kuminga. You made it clear he don't want to be there anymore either. So why not use him? Let's try to get. They didn't make a move all summer.
Don't you agree? It's probably super hard to have a player like Steph be good for this long, while the players around him might be getting older or worse. You have to swap them out and retool around these guys for a long period of time. It is probably really hard to constantly make the right move, right? Like even OKC makes mistakes. Like it's hard to make the right move for this long. I mean, they got that title in 22. That title meant a lot, right? Like you said, that title stamped Steph, stamped the Warriors. Post KD title, like that one meant a lot.
Yeah, well,
it's really hard to keep doing it over and over again, right? Making the right moves, signing the right free agents, this and that.
Yeah. I mean, Steph's been stamped, but yeah, that championship puts Steph, like you kind of are trying to mean, like it puts Steph in that category where you now put him as like one of the all-timers. Like he was already the greatest shooter of all time. He's already a lot of the greatest, but like when he won that one and just the year since his play, the level he still plays at, people now look at Steph as like a top 4, top 5 player of all time. You know what I mean? And that championship really, really put the stamp on it. It is tough because you look at Dre, you look at Clay, they're like a fraction of what they were. Meanwhile, Steph's like hitting 12 threes in a game. It's just like, all right, well, it's hard to keep them all and like try to continue to piece it around him. And then at one point they had Poole and Kuminga. They're like, yo, this is the restart. But then this guy's still playing really good and wants to win now. So it's hard. You know what I mean? It's hard to put those two different timelines. And by the way, they're two different offenses because the way Kuminga plays is completely different than what's works for Steph. So it's tough. I do think, regardless of which, and again, we've been playing both sides of the fence or coin, however you want to phrase it, a lot today. We've been 50-50, and I've been very vanilla in most of these regards. It's a tough spot for Dunleavy to be in. It's not easy. So, I can give my opinion. It has been mishandled. It has been. I'm not saying myself or anybody else would have done any better because that spot is a very tricky one to be in, okay? A lot of emotions, a lot of legacy there. You just don't come in and start trading and moving. It's tough. You know, the Clay thing didn't end well, and that was the start of it. And it hasn't really gone well since. The pieces that they have there don't make sense. They're not good enough. I'm sorry. Even fully healthy, they're good. They're not good enough to beat these other teams who are 9-10 deep, and are younger and faster and more athletic. They just can't do it. So I don't know what you do with Steph because he still is incredible, but his team is. They're not good enough.
Right. And in the Eastern Conference, a player that we mentioned earlier in the pod, Donovan Mitchell, I feel like the Cavs, we've seen this Cavs, like the version of this Cavs team, like 3 or 4 years now. The East has never been more open. It's probably the most open conference I can ever remember. And they're clearly just not, like, it's not working. Whatever they're doing is not working. Are they a team for you that just needs to make a trade? Or are you just betting on Evan Mobley still taking that step again? Another step. Garland and Mitchell working out. I know Garland's had a rough start to the season. Do you want to see them make a trade, or would you just play it
out? It's tough. Last year they're the best team in the NBA. You know, this year they've been hurt a lot, which is why their record is what it is. They'll be all right. I would keep them. I think the East is too wide open. I would look into the market, see what's around. You know what I mean? I think you could always get better. They're not perfect, and they haven't won anything. So there's definitely a reason to always look. I just wouldn't be in such a hurry. People always like, they got to move Garland. All right, well, relax, because there's not like a whole bunch of Garlands on the market. You can't just go get an all-star caliber guard like it's nothing. I think people underestimate how good Garland is. And
you're not going to get as talented of a player in return if you move Garland.
Yeah, you move Garland, you're not getting another one back. So, like, easy. Everything, get rid of Garland. Okay, get rid of Garland, but who's coming? Who are they getting?
What about one of those point guards that in the trade carousel, the Trays, the LaMelos, the Jaws? Would you make a move?
If I could move Garland and get who? Which one?
Any of those guys, I feel like all of them might be available.
That's interesting. Yes, I look at that. Yes.
Look at you. You perked up a little bit. You're like, no, don't move Garland.
When you said, when you said you're talking about who? For Trey? For LaMelo? I start getting curious. That's a little different. But just for like another guard or to go get this other wing who can defend, it's like, all right, guys, in the playoffs, the ball's going to stick, and you're going to be like, Donovan needs another playmaker, and you're going to be like, oh. You had Garland there. It's like what Sacramento, they had too many guards. They needed to get rid of Halliburton, and then now they got rid of. Now they don't have any guards. And then, what are you talking about? Just some people are such in a rush to get rid of. Realize what you got. Garland's good, okay. So unless we're getting something very, very good back, I don't need to move him right now. The East is wide open. They've had a lot of injuries. They were a great team last year. They've proven that they can play together at a high level. Easy, yeah. All right, well, that does it for this episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram and TikTok, the Off Guard Podcast. You can also catch us on YouTube, whether that's on NBC or my YouTube, Austin Rivers. You can find us there, watch the clips or the full episodes along with shorts. Otherwise, you can see all of our clips on the social, see our links, Apple, Spotify. It's all there. We'll have it not only in our bio, but on our post as well. Make sure you like and subscribe, view, watch, support. We're here. We love you guys. Have a safe weekend. We'll be back next week.